Welcome back to At Home with Roby. I'm Patrick McIsaac, president of Roby Electric, along with Trent Hayson, president and CEO of the Roby family of companies. Trent, you want to learn a little bit about audio video, do you?
Oh, no, man. I was saying that a little bit on the first segment.
You thought you were an expert.
I just need to get back in the game
Yeah.
and figure out what everybody's doing in the audio video world. I know technology moves so fast, and I know there's some really cool stuff going on. So, Jim, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me, gentlemen. I'm excited to be here.
Jim Price from Audio Advice. He's a poet, and he didn't know it.
Was that planned?
He changed his last name.
That kind of sounds like my old raps I used to make.
He used to be Jim Smith. He changed it to Jim Price when he took this job. But no, Jim, all kidding aside, you're with Audio Advice. Tell us a little bit about your business and what it is you guys do.
Well, Audio Advice was founded in 1978 by Leon Shaw with a desire to achieve high performance. You know, and it's the same today that one of our taglines is high performance audio video since 1978. And so, you can go to a lot of places and buy speakers and amplifiers and receivers and things like that. And we really try to set ourselves apart by curating what we sell. And so we have there's half a dozen of us out of our 60-member group we sit on a committee. And we test gear. We play around with new stuff that it's coming out. We don't test it in customers' homes. We make sure that we take the time to test it in our own homes or in our office and make sure that it's really kind of met our standard. And so, it's a long process. Sometimes we test something for 90 days before we give it the seal of approval because it has to last for years and years and years in our customers' homes.
So Jim, also as I was talking to my wife, I said these folks are the creme de la creme. Frankly, they're the Roby of the audio video, the tech, that world. Give us a spectrum of what you do most for customers, for homeowners. I mean, from A to Z.
The greatest majority of what we really do is just media rooms, living rooms in people's homes. We really enjoy working with Average Joe. I'm Average Joe, and so it's all of us that work for Audio Advice are just average Joes, and so we want to provide for our customers what we would provide for ourselves, and so we spend an awful lot of time really just focusing on high performance in the average person's living room. And so we're doing a lot of, hanging that 65-inch high-performance Sony television up with a great sound package, whether it be from our friends at Martin Logan or Bowers & Wilkins when it comes to speakers or Sonance. And, we do a lot of distributed audio as well. People love sound in their backyards, on their patios, in the bathroom, in the kitchen, And so we spend a lot of time with Sonos components, which a lot of people know. It's the most popular distributed audio product on the planet and probably the most versatile as well. And so we do a lot of the distributed audio, a lot of media rooms, lighting automation. We do a ton with lighting automation. And so, and that's another thing is to talk about, I think at some point we'll probably discuss the difference between automation and control because they're really two very different things.
That's what I'm going to start telling Reagan. I'm in automation.
No. It sounds so sophisticated.
I'm in control.
Hold on, did he say his name was Joe? I thought his name was Jim. Did he say average? I'm just kidding.
Yeah, he's the average Jim.
I'm joking. That's a bad joke. Sorry.
That's okay.
GEM, like an emerald baby. No, so...
well, and don't forget it's Jim Price from Audio Advice.
So I
my name's not just Jim
and
anymore. Everybody else has figured out that it rhymes, and everybody calls me Jim Price with Audio Advice.
Got a question for you, Jim. What do you call a camel with 3 humps?
I don't know.
Pregnant. Okay, let's move on. That's called having kids. Is surround sound as we traditionally know it that came about 10, 20 years ago, is it the same now or has it evolved?
Oh, it's changed dramatically. I remember when the first surround sound receiver first came out and it didn't work completely all by itself. You had to buy other parts and pieces in order to get the true full surround sound effect. You had the separate processor and the separate amplifier and, that amplifier couldn't even drive all the speed. You had to buy another amplifier. So, yeah, it's changed a lot. And, we went from the early days of having that 5.1 Dolby Pro Logic surround system to now 11 channels of Dolby Atmos. which is basically to simplify that. Imagine for a minute that video was 3D. And I'm not talking about the hokey 3D that, we get today in our homes if you even use it, because there's nothing.
Virtual reality.
Yeah, it's just, well, I'm talking about 3D, with the glasses on in front of the TV. That's fun for some, but it really never took off. But imagine for a minute that the video you're watching is 3D. And so what's happened is in the Hollywood studios, when they're editing, they edit the audio as though it were in a 3D environment. And so now we've added additional speakers to the room that are sort of imaging that sound in a place within the room as though the video that we're watching, we're immersed in it. We're inside the video. And so that's what Atmos has really done for us, is it's helped us to bring ourselves inside the video through the audio.
So that's why certain sounds from a movie or what have you come out of certain speakers and don't come out of the whole thing.
Exactly.
Yeah, I saw a demo of that, and it might have been at your place, or it may have been somewhere else. I'm trying to remember, but it was rain.
You weren't in one of my competitors' places.
It was.
Were you, Patrick?
It was. I don't even know who your competitors are.
I didn't even know you had any competitors.
Yeah, I thought it was just you.
I did tell my wife that too. I was like, no.
But no, it was cool. It was obscene. It was raining, and it literally felt like you were like in the middle of a rain, so it was coming from all around you, and it really was cool. Tell me this, Jim, because I'm hearing you talking. You're talking about a lot of neat stuff, and it almost sounds like it would be better fit for. I know you do this new construction, obviously during a remodel, but in a retrofit application, like for example, if I have a living room and I want to come in and I want to add all of this stuff, am I tearing up walls? Am I doing a bunch of damage to sheetrock, or is this stuff able to be done a little bit more wirelessly these days?
So wireless, no.
Okay.
Unfortunately, we do still have to get a wire there in order to certainly achieve the performance that we expect. Nothing is a good replacement for wire. And so, but when it comes to, retrofitting into a house, a lot of things come into as factors, as you guys know, certainly being in the construction industry. Sometimes it's minimal access, and we can have Roby Contracting come in and patch the sheetrock that maybe needs to be cut in order to get a wire into a certain place.
Yes.
Or, what's great is obviously having attic access, and being able to get to the ceiling that's above that room is incredibly helpful as well.
Well, we get asked that all the time. Obviously, in the electrical world, hey, I want to put a light in, I want to put a ceiling fan in. This is sort of a lesson from a construction lesson. That you're right. Just think about how that wire has to go from point A to point B, whether through a crawl space or through an attic space. And if you don't have those, then it can be a little bit more intrusive from a drywall standpoint. But drywall repair, I think, makes people nervous. Like if you're going to cut a hole in my wall, but you have people like Dave Fetter and Andrew Roby Handyman that can repair this stuff as well as he can. It's really not something to be scared of, and I think people do get a little intimidated by that. Jim, we're going to switch gears a little bit. I want to start talking about automation and control. Smart homes, if you will, are becoming ever popular. It's sort of the new buzzword around the industry. But a smart home can be a lot of different things. So kind of tell us what you guys do and walk us through that process, because I think people do get a little bit intimidated because it can become a little bit complex. But it's really not that bad. You and I talked about that before the show a little bit.
Yeah, automation in its simplest form is, let's say you want your driveway lights to come on automatically.
Right.
And, Roby Electric does this as well, to be able to just have a simple switch that's on a timer or an astronomical clock. And for people who don't know what an astronomical clock is, that means that when the sun goes up and when the sun goes down, we can set timers based on that event. We can tell it to come up 15 minutes before the sun goes down. That automation timer doesn't know that there's a mountain in your backyard. It just knows what time the internet says that the sun's going to go down.
Right.
And so we could say, hey, we know that the sun goes down even sooner, so we want to say, hey, 15 minutes before the sun goes down, turn those driveway lights on, and it'll happen.
Wow.
So that's, sort of its simplest form of automation.
Well, so that's good to know. So basically, if you're thinking about it, and people get worried, like again, this is automation, it's complex. If you have a timer on your landscape lighting at your house right now, you are on the beginning of a smart home. That's basically all this is some control, and you're going to explain to us what the difference between control and automation is. We're coming up, we've got about 25 seconds before the break, so I think. Audience, if you're listening, if you can stay tuned to our next segment, Jim's going to go into what a smart home is, what automation is, what control is, and all the different things that you can utilize this stuff with. It's not just lights. You can do shades. You can do speakers. You can do geofencing, all kinds of cool stuff. So, Jim, can you stick around for the next segment?
Love to.
We'll be right back.